Okay, folks, happy Tuesday. Echo, 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 echo. Okay. Been a few days. Almost got on here last night, almost got on here the night before. Just didn't work out. Just too late. It's just too late to start at 9 o'clock. It's just way too late. So, what we're going to plan on doing is, we've got lots of little bits of stuff that we've done, and none of it has been completed. And that's fine. I don't have to get it completed. You know, sometimes I feel like working on figures. Sometimes I feel like working on vehicles. Sometimes I don't feel like doing either one of them. Or it gets too late. The cost of freedom. So I'm going to start off with doing some basing. I've got the vehicles from that were 3D printed, that are completely sealed and everything. They just need to go on bases, and that takes a little bit to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. We've got the bases here before they get too hard, and it's too hard to scrape this stuff off. So before this super hardens, we're going to base these. Now, this room is as picked up as it's been in a long freaking time. So, not that my room's that messy, really, by the standards that some of you guys set, but it is pretty clear right now. So let's grab the usual suspect, which is going to be not flat Earth. It's next to flat Earth. Not that one. Where are you, my chocolate brownness? Beige brown. You're in the wrong space, pal. And that's going to take a little bit. English uniform. I got a spare. I just would like to use leather brown. I'd like to use all of it up that I can. Aha! Okay, and I still have a spare one, I think. What color is sitting over here? No, that's a saddle brown. Yep, I got a chocolate brown. All right, I'm going to grab a bit of paper towels. So I want to lay these on the paper towels. And I go kind of heavy on this, on the get-go. Let's go ahead and let's use that and a brush. And I'm going to go ahead and charge my phone while I'm at it. And we got some interesting stuff to talk about. If somebody comes on and wants to talk about it. That's actually that's a little too big, I think. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock is too hard to get. It's too hard to get started at that time. You know, by the time I get on a roll, I'm gonna have to have coffee or something like that, and that just. I mean, I'll get to sleep, but. I'll wake up and go back to sleep a lot more times than. I don't have restful sleep. Let's put it that way. Let's try this. I just use this magnet to try to keep some of this paint off of me, off of my fingers. This always takes the longest to dry because I need to lay it on there pretty thick. So I figured this could be drying while we go into work on different stuff. All right, there's one of them. Do the same thing on this one. The first of three colors. The first of three layers, the bottom layer. And I don't use craft paint for this. I want this to cover really well and to be a little bit more durable. Because I'm not planning on sealing this. Never have, and it hasn't been an issue, so. Okay, that's the two stands. One of these is for the M18 Hellcat, and the other one is for the M15. And now the two Jeep stands. I don't need to do this. Maybe it'll be a slow evening. I don't know. You guys don't show up, I'll leave. Man, these little stands are tiny. They're like a postcard. There's so much paint on here. I'm actually going to take this to the sink and get rid of it. I don't want to. I just changed the water and I don't want to pollute it immediately. Now we can leave that drying. It's going to take a little bit of time for that to dry up. So you need to work on something else. I don't really like to hop around, like I've said, but you know, it's either that or you tell some jokes or whatever for some time before. Go ahead and put this back. Just put things back as we use them. That's how this turns into a bunch of chaos. All right, so we got these two T-34s, model 1940s from Skytrex, Hinchcliffe Skytrex. And they have the road wheels painted, the tracks are painted, they need to be weathered. So I'm going to move the two turrets off to the side. We're going to work on them one at a time. And we don't use the base, I don't put the base color on there. I do the next two colors, which one of them is US Field Drab from Vallejo, and the other one is Iraqi Sand. That's dark sand. Iraqi Sand is this one? Iraqi Sand, okay. Perfect. Use this. And we'll put some of this down. And I want to use a relatively small brush so I can get in places. So let's see how we're doing with these. Even this one might be a little too big. Yeah, something like this brush is fine. But it's got dried paint on it, so we're just going to put a little bit of hand sanitizer and clean all this stuff right off so that the bristles are up against each other. Because otherwise the paint takes up space and the bristles all look, it looks a little bit more, it looks wider than it should. And then we'll rinse that in water to neutralize it. And we should be good to go. All right. Let's take a little bit of this US Field Drab. And always start on the running gear and stuff. So if you have too much weathering, it ends up being in places where there'd be a lot of weathering to begin with. instead of switching over to the other tank and doing the same thing with it, we're going to stay on this one. All right, and we're going to do Reiki sand. We'll put it over there. And I'm not going to rinse this out or anything, I think. And maybe I will. That's the problem if you dry brush stuff and the colors aren't different enough, you're not going to notice it. And the whole point is you do want some different colors there to kind of bring it to life. If they all kind of look the same, then it just kind of gets lost. All that effort for nothing. I'll do a little bit of Iraqi sand on here. So this is the part of the show where I'd probably say, you know, next weekend, don't plan on me being on there as I'm going to be at a convention. Except, I don't know if I'm going to go. Because with the storm and everything, I don't know that I'm going to go. I honestly don't know yet. And let's put it this way. If there's one I didn't mind missing, it'd be this one. I'm just pretty much going just to hang out with people. I don't really want to play anything that they're running. Doesn't really do anything for me. But we're going to make a family trip out of it. But not going to be able to do that. So, doesn't look like it anyways. Another reason not to be working for shit on conventions. Can you imagine if I was excited for going to this convention and I've been working on something for 6 months and then all of a sudden I get the rug pulled out from me and I can't go? I'd be fucking pissed. This whole time I'd be like, man, I want to do this, but I can't because I need every waking moment to be able to work on this thing, to be ready for a convention. And then Mother Nature decides to do a wet fart, I can't go. I'd be pissed. I will never work on stuff I have to get done by a certain time ever again. Never going to. I'll find another fucking hobby. It's not worth the stress. Maybe you folks that are retired can handle it, but I got too many other things I have to do that I don't want to do. Caveat, I don't want to do them. I don't want to do them and I have to do them. So, I certainly don't want my hobby causing me problems. Causing me other issues. Now, this is relatively new tank. These came when the Germans invaded. These guys showed up and through different reasons they didn't last very long. You know it's a superb tank. Crews weren't trained properly, spare parts that broke down, didn't have a way to fix them. Etc., etc., etc. Make sure the right chat's on here. There we go, live chat. And other than a few things like exhaust and stuff that I want to paint last, this thing's pretty much done. Well, I did the black lining on everything, so let's do the same thing on this Joker. Now this is a darker color, so I'm not going to rinse this thing out. We're just going to come over here with this. So I picked up a book last week, and I went out of town this weekend and actually had a chance to read an honest to God's book, like a real book. And yeah, I did a bit of reading on Sunday morning. I didn't have the show to distract me. It makes it sound like I was an unpleasant activity, but you know, I don't have that, so I'm free to do other things. And I read about 35 to 40 pages of this book that I picked up last week. But the memoirs, supposed memoirs of a German tanker, which some people think is suspect and not really what happened. But regardless, it's good for scenario ideas. So but if I don't go to this show, I'm going to order some stuff. So we'll have some unboxings in a little bit. Cost-wise, it's probably better not to go to the show, but just depends how things play out. The show is between me and where it's being held at, and the storm. The storm's going to pass in between us, so I either got to go really early, and you know, I'm not going to leave my wife here, you know, so we'll see. I am not super interested in going and dealing with a bunch of crazies on the road. No, we'll just see how it plays out. Got these edges on here that you can make them stand out, have some stuff of interest back here. Now, if I was running some other game that I played for a long time, I might feel like I absolutely had to go. But I suspect they'll probably lose at least a third of the people that would show up there, maybe even more, like half. There's a fair number of people that come from the north, and all the people coming to Orlando from the north are gonna, unless they're coming from Jacksonville, they're gonna have a hard time getting there. But I know some people are dying to go to the convention to play face to face. I haven't played a face to face game since the last convention. I don't miss it. You know, it became too inconvenient. Way too inconvenient for me to play a face to face game. It's just not worth it. No. I mean, actually paint over it, make that white a little brighter. I don't know. I think it's probably just fine. Let's paint the dirty exhausts. So for that, we're going to need orange, an orange-like color. So orange-brown is fine, and some black. What is this? A rough iron. It's got flakes in it, no doubt. I think I'm going to have to make another coffee. Be right back. Yeah, I mean, if I don't go to the show, shit, I could order $200 worth of stuff and be better off. I'm not going to order $200 worth of stuff, not at one time. There was a there was an eBay sale that I was looking at, and I always like to do that. I like to look a lot on eBay and then just never pull the trigger on it. You can have all the fun of shopping and none of the expense. I know some of you guys can't do that, but I can. This guy was selling like 27 model kits or whatever. And they were all stuff that I was interested in. Somewhat. I mean, it's not like, hey, you get to pick whichever 27 you want. It's like, he like sold like a German one and an Allied one, mixture different model kits, all 1/72nd scale, and it was like 27 kits, and the Allied one went for like $150. Plus, it's a good deal. It's a good deal, but I got a pretty good idea of the next thing I'm going to order, so of what it might be. So. I got some figures I want to get from Australia. And not that I need them, but see, this is one of those times where it's just difficult to realize whether or not I'm done with these or not, because there's some gloss on them. Just the nature of them being of having paint, there is gloss on them in certain places, and that throws off what it actually looks like. Because I think it actually, these guys probably look just fine the way they are. Just need a flat coat on them. I'm going to go grab my tray. I bought a tray over the weekend specifically to take out there to take things to and from the garage. And I think these are ready to go. And I hate to say it, but one of the things I'm actually looking forward to is getting another King Tiger. There's a couple paint schemes I want to do, and I don't want to have to decide, like, okay, this is the one that. So this is a 99-cent thing from IKEA. Well, we were in IKEA, and I wanted to get some stuff, organizational stuff for the room, but they didn't have anything there. I'm not just going to buy stuff just to buy it. So I think these guys need to go get sealed. Oh, I'm an idiot. I need to paint the headlights. Then they can go get sealed. Let's paint some headlights. So for that, we already have black here. Let's get some white. There's a good way to have an accent. Put this out here. We got to get one that's more precise than that. This one might be able to do it. What's up, Skylab? Getting ready for another hurricane? Yeah. I don't know about getting ready. I need to go to a smaller brush. It's just in the wrong place. And it's the wrong weekend. Because it's our convention in Orlando is this weekend. And it's heading right towards us. I mean, I'm not really worried about damage. I'm worried about inconvenience. And what we're planning on doing is going to Orlando, staying in a resort hotel. The daughter was going to come from St. Petersburg, meet us there with a friend. The wife was going to come down, and they can, use the resort facilities at the hotel while I'm at the convention for 2/3 of the day, and then I join them at night. But now the daughter is being evacuated, because she's right on the bay. And, they're going to have a storm surge in St. Pete of, I don't know, 10 feet, something like that. Life's not in danger, but, she's got to evacuate because there's she could stay in the building and the building will be fine, but it's like you can't go anywhere. So, so you're basically besieged there. It doesn't make any sense. This time the hurricane is going inconvenience you and your family. Yeah, you've got that funeral you got your mom's funeral in Sarasota. I don't know how the hell you're going to get there, man. You almost have to fly into Miami and come in by car. I think if you go in that way, you're okay. I mean, if you fly into Miami and then take Alligator Alley across, probably be okay. But we'll just see how it plays out. I take everything with a grain of salt because those weather predicting fuckers are all. Now I think since Katrina, they tend to say, it's going to be the end of the world. And then it isn't. It's okay. Right? But if they underestimate it and it ends up being bigger, everybody will call for their heads. So I think they're really careful with that. There's three things, and that's all I've dealt with all day long is the freaking hurricane, and the repercussions of it for work. There's three things that they tell you about the hurricane. They tell you the strength, the route it's going, and when it's going to be at a certain spot, right? It's going to be here on a Thursday or it's going to be here on a Friday. The thing that they're the most correct on is the route it takes. And they adjust it a little bit, but it's going to be in that cone. You don't know how long it's, what strength it's going to be. I mean, they're just, they were saying, oh, it's going to be like a major hurricane, and it hadn't even gotten over 40 miles an hour, right? But the thing that they're the most wrong on all of the time is when it's going to be in a certain spot. Almost always, it's behind, it is farther behind than they say where it's going to be. Almost every time. Fred's Factorium, welcome, man. Hopefully it will be well past Florida by then. Up in Missouri, probably not. It's going to be in your way. So, you looked at the first map and it's like, oh, it's going to be over us in Thursday. There's no way. There's no way it's going to be over Thursday. It's going to be really difficult to leave here on Friday. Very difficult to leave here on Friday. So you either need to leave before Friday or just hunker down. And I live in an area where unless a tree falls on you, I don't really have anything to worry about. Yeah, and that's just, hey, this could be the exception and my house could be devastated. I'm just saying, I've lived in this area my entire life. And other than the last two storms that have come close-ish, the last one we didn't even lose power. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying we didn't lose power. So, the worst thing about hurricanes is how people act. They act like total ass clowns. Like it's, the purge or something. So, I got that convention that is this weekend. If I was still doing the stuff I was doing before, and for 6 months I'd be working on some army to debut at the convention, I would be devastated. It would be an extreme pain in the ass. No, I don't care. If I don't go, I don't care. I don't have anything into it. You know, I'm not. I will never build anything for a convention again, ever. Never going to do it. And every time something like this happens, it's just reinforcement. Like, see, good thing you didn't build anything. See, good thing you're not running any games. You know. I want to go there mainly to just hang out with people, have some adult beverages. The rest of it, gaming. I haven't gamed face to face since the last convention. I don't miss it. So maybe some other people are really excited because, oh, I haven't gamed in whatever 6 months. Well, maybe you're a gamer. I'm more of a painter and a creator than anything else. I'm not in a hurry to be around some cheating people. I'm not saying everybody's that way, but there's some folks down there. There we go. I think this is actually the best looking version of T-34. Even if it is technically the least effective. It's the most aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. Now we have a few more things to do. I was like ready to spray these things, but we've got a few more. We got a few little things to do. But yeah, if I had worked on some army since the last convention, like crazy, like I can't do any tanks because I got to do this army. I can't do this. I can't do anything I want because I got to get this done. And then mere days before my convention, I can't go to the convention. I'd be pissed. Got to find another hobby, you know? Hobbies should create less stress for you, not more. I can relate on being a hobbyist creator first and a gamer second. That said, I have a bolt action tournament coming up this weekend. Where's that at? You know, you're not going Recon, are you? Or Huracan, or whatever the hell it's called? Yeah, keep good watching. They're real good on the path. They are really good on the path. Yeah, they're pretty good on the path. Yeah, I check it every 3 hours. Next update is, oh shit, now. It's 8. Yeah, it's slated to go right over me. Let's see. NOAA Hurricane. NOAA Hurricane. But I was slated to be off Friday anyways. And I'm still going to be off Friday. I don't think the office is going to be open. It's just that joker's going to be all over us. On top of us. Helene, what a sissy ass name. 60 mile an hour. Okay, so now it's picking up speed. This is the real useful graphic. This graphic. When you go on there. Wednesday, Thursday AM, 2 a.m. Friday. There's no way. There's no way that the freaking storm, the center of it, is all the way inside, over Bainbridge, Georgia at 2 a.m. on Friday. There is no way. My guess is at 2 a.m., this is Tony's predictions, 2 a.m. Friday, it's still going to be over water. It's still going to be over water. It had moved a little bit this way, and now it's moving back. The more it moves this way, the better off I am. We're right on the cusp of that line right there. So, and the more it moves this way, the easier it is for you to fly into. I don't know where you're going to fly into, Mark. I mean, normally you'd probably fly into Tampa. I think Tampa's going to be shut down. Just a small one on the west coast of Sweden. A local game club is sending off second edition on Saturday and then spending Sunday playing third. Yeah, that's your favorite graphic. There you go. Sweden, welcome. I can't say anything to you in Swedish. I don't know how to speak Swedish. Sorry. Oh, yes I do. Yes I do. Hold on. Who am I kidding? Tillgång. Somebody said that IKEA stuff is, if you read off the names of all the IKEA products, you summon a Nordic demon. For yourself, you won't be going to Florida. I'll have to attend the online portion of a funeral online. Wow. Well, I really hate funerals. I know you got to go to them, but I'm not a fan of funerals. I don't think anybody's a fan of funerals, but I'm just saying, they really bring me down. Yeah, Sweden. What else do I have that's Swedish? Oh, I have a Swedish army. What else do I got? Swedish 15 millimeter army. With a cool general. But I have a feeling those guys aren't going to get used anytime soon, or any of my other 15 millimeter armies. I'm in no hurry to play that stuff again. That's just I gotta do stuff at other people's pace when I'm doing that. I gotta depend on other people a little too much. And I've just gotten to the point where work is such a pain in the butt just to get by each day. I'm just not willing to take on anything extra. And sure enough, the last convention we went at, everybody was all hot and heavy about we were going to have Art de la Guerre. And there was 15, 20 people. And I was like, all of a sudden, they're not here at this show. This is before even the hurricane. Because it was organized from people from afar and they couldn't make it. So it's a good thing I didn't get into Art de la Guerre. Not that I was going to, but... Okay, we're going to do a little bit of highlight that with some metallic color. Okay. Then come over here. Sounds about right with the demons, summoning demons. That's cool. I like IKEA. If you can find something there. I have lots of stuff that's from IKEA. This whole case back here, and none of it, and it's not made in China. It's made in Italy. Well, it's particle board. It can be made wherever the hell it wants to. This table's IKEA. That table's IKEA. Now, if you can find something at IKEA, it's a good price. I think because there's no middleman. It goes directly from them to you. Just say it. It's like Trader Joe's. Furniture from Trader Joe's. Yeah, the only Swedes I've been playing lately is I've been playing those little Swedish destroyers in, what's that called? World of Warships. Yeah, they got something going on right now with I don't play for money. I play, whatever's free. It's part of my morning ritual on a work day. I go on there and play a couple rounds before I go to work. Okay, now we will do a wet dry brush of this stuff. Iron Warriors. You actually have an IKEA store in Salt Lake City. If you can find something there, it's a good price. These cup holders are from there. No, we've got one in Jacksonville, we've got one in Tampa, we've got one in Orlando. They're all relatively the same distance, within 2 hours. They're on Sunday. I want to get something to put my little tweezers in. So they had a pegboard that you could put the, but I'm like, there's few things I dislike more than spending money on something and then you end up not using it. So I wasn't ready to do that yet. I'm not one for buying stuff just to buy stuff, so. Okay. And a little bit of this one. And this guy will be ready to seal. How we doing on it? No, we got to wait a little bit longer to do that. We don't want to pick up any of that wet paint when we're doing the dry brush stage. I just didn't feel like adding any extra packs and stuff. I get lazy, and that's one of those things where it's like, if I start thinking about how I want to make these individually different, I'm not ready to do that. I can do that afterwards at some later date. I don't want to lose momentum. So this and this one can go on the IKEA tray and ready to be taken to seal this, because right now I can't really tell. You know what? I'm going to do something. Let me get some water down here. Let's brighten up these numbers. They're not popping enough for me. That's better. All right. I like that a little bit better. Well, we'll see after we seal it. And this one has I didn't realize this one was for Stalin. So I ruined my thing. I was saying I don't want any pro-Hitler or pro-Stalin stuff on here. You know, I'm not a fan of communists, but I approve these guys defending their motherland. And they shouldn't have made a deal with the freaking Nazis. But whatever, that's not the peasants' fault. But I guess I broke my deal because I wrote this. This was like one of them, and it's like, fuck, that means Stalin on there. I don't like little short guys with mustaches. IKEA has some decent. Which T-34s are these? They're the model 1940s. They're the ones that have the first 76 millimeter gun. The early KVs had it. I don't know exactly what caliber gun it is, but it's it's smaller than the other one. It's called the L11 gun. It's not 11 caliber. It's just the L11 gun. The early KV ones had it, and these guys had it. It's the only model of the T-34 that had it. IKEA has some decent storage stuff for us hobbyists. Last time I bought archive boxes for 50 cents a piece. I gotta say, I don't own any Swedish wargaming stuff at all. Probably gonna do a small tank army for a Cold War gun, a hot and 15 millimeter at one point though. Everybody likes S tanks. Right? Those are Swedish, not Swiss. Yeah, Swiss had the proto-Hetz, or the neo-Hetzers. Swedes have some cool camouflage. You got some cool camouflage uniforms. Shit, what do Swedes use as rifles? Here we go. Yeah, you should do your own people, unless you're like, you're not. Swedish Army weapons. All. List of equipment of the Swedish Army. Here we go. They use leopards, I'm pretty sure. Or a version of them. No, I want to know small arms. Pistols, submachine gun, assault rifle. What do they use? AK-24A. Cold War gone hot. They have good relations. You guys have good relations with the Finns right now? The Finns don't like the frickin' Russians. For good reason. S-tanks are great, yeah. They really are. They really are. Let me take a drop of this. I'm going to need this to keep the momentum flowing on the white. Just one drop, that's enough. I actually wargaming, I tend to, historically, I never like doing American stuff. I'm already American. It's a little bit of role playing. I mean, I want to do, I want to do other silly accents, even if they're wrong. It's part of the fun. It's like some people play role playing games. I don't, and they never want to play humans. I don't want to play Americans. I'm a little bit more interested in it now and it's mainly because American stuff is generally pretty boring, but it's an opportunity to not make it boring. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, let's brighten this shit up. I should have figured out how to write for Stalin, that little bitch. I mean, how do you write that in Russian? There we go. That popped a little bit better. And it's basically the difference between that or that. It's all there. I just want to be able to see it a little bit farther away. Yeah, we always had great relations with Finland. I should know. You're Finnish by birth. Ah. Finished painting my tanks the other day for this weekend. Belgian T-34 and ACG together with a Minerva armored car and FN truck for your May 1940 Army. So, there's a company called, you probably heard of them, called Early War Miniatures. They do stuff in 20 millimeter, which is my scale of choice for skirmish. And they make figures for the Danes, which they look pretty interesting. They got them on bikes, and they got them silly ass big helmets, almost kind of like those. There's a special helmet that the U.S. gunners used on like battleships and stuff, like if they're Bofors or whatever. They had like this big, almost like something off like the Death Star. The Danes had this really big, goofy ass looking helmet. Probably provided pretty good protection. Still look goofy ass. And they make a whole line of figures for them. But Denmark was only in World War II for 6 hours. Like, that is like super specialized, you know? But you think like, oh, I'm building stuff only for the Battle of the Bulge. Well, that's really limited. Well, how about building an army that was only around for 6 hours? Only around for 6 hours and went back to making Legos, you know? But they look cool. The Belgians were around a lot longer than that. I don't know what it is. Like, I've thought, you know, I would like to, if I'm going to do any French troops, I'm doing France 1940. Right? I'm not interested in doing the 1944 French because they basically wear American kit with American tanks. The 1940 tanks, French tanks, are cool. Now, I know they've got lots of limitations. I don't care about that. You know, the whole point of playing a war game is realizing that some of these things have issues, whether you're outnumbered or you got guys you're fighting that have more experience than you, or their equipment's better, whatever. And you got to use those things that are at your disadvantage to use them to your advantage. You know, you got to play to your strengths, right? And that's what makes it fun to play anything. Everybody, you can't play everybody the same. But I never did the French for 2 reasons. The biggest reason is, well, there's 2 reasons. There's 2 reasons. I don't know which one's bigger. They weren't around very long, but you could use them in Norway, because they did go to Norway. And the Germans that fight them look stupid not having a little turret storage thing behind a turret. It looks so weird to me. I guess I could just say fuck it and still put it on there, you know, because I'm gonna, you know, I'm a big fan of early Barbarossa. But one of the armies I'm actually considering getting troops for is the 1940 French infantry. The only downside to it, the biggest downside to them right now is the uniforms are so boring. They're all like a really ugly brown. That's about it. But, you know. Here we go. Now these are ready for the sealant. And they don't look like much now, but they'll look okay when they're sealed. They'll go with the other. God, how many T-34s do I have? Probably 25 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, only 19? Well, only 19 painted. I got probably another umpteen left to go. How many T-34 45s do I have? 2? Yeah, we need more of those. We need more of those painted. How are we doing on this basing yet? Almost ready. So this book I picked up, I have this store that I have this credit at. It's a secondhand store called Second and Charles. I sold a bunch of stuff I didn't need, and they gave me store credit. And I got like $60 something in store credit, and I found a book for $2 to buy. So my store credit's going to last me for a long time. Now, I think this is supposedly somebody's memoir, but I think it's not. I think it's just fake, but it doesn't matter. I think there's some interesting scenarios in there, and this particular book takes place in like April of 1945, so it's like the end of the end of the end of the end. And it's been a long time since I read a book. I mean, usually I do them on Audible and stuff like that, but that's pretty good. Some pretty good scenarios in there. So, with that said, and I have another King Tiger that I finished up the other day to paint up, and we did the hatch open. We're gonna have some pompous Nazi stooge will be in there. All my Germans are Nazis and all my Soviets are communists. That's how I like it.
Let's see what we got in the T-34 Landia. T-34 E5 Landia.
Now, T-34 E5 is actually, in my opinion, a really attractive vehicle. Danish, the first operation by Fallschirmjägers, yeah, they landed on the top of a Benamail, right? Is that how you say it? A Benamail? Danish coastal fort? Oh, yeah, I don't know anything about that. It was only 6 hours, man. What's to know? Okay. We have some SHQ miniatures here. Now, those two I have had the hatches open. And they're completely done. So there was a guy that was running an estate sale. Or, well, he wasn't, but his family was. And he had oodles and oodles and oodles of T-34s. And I'm like, I'm gonna get these. And they're 176 scale. I wish they were 172nd, but that's okay. That's okay. So this, if I do stuff inspired by that book, we're gonna need more than 2 T-34 85s. And if I'm going to primer that King Tiger, I don't want to go out there and primer just one vehicle. So let's see what we got here. We got pieces, parts. I put them all together. Here's another one. These are SHQ miniatures. We got extra accoutrement. Let's see what we got here. Here's a whole set. I'm going to put these together with epoxy. 1 hull, 2 hulls, 3 hulls, 4 hulls, 5 hulls. We made some modifications, like we ended up taking this fender off. White metal is such a pain in the butt to work with. And these have the really attractive road wheels that are hollowed out. Nice looking road wheels. These are actually nice looking models. A Benamail is in Belgium. First drop ever in history was a contagion fort. Had a couple of recruits and old reservists in it that got really surprised. Yeah, I didn't know about that. It was only 6 hours. So this one and this one, that's a set. Okay? This was all in one huge grab bag, and ended up putting all this stuff together, and I'm surprised I had complete sets of it. That one's together, okay? This one and this one. And that one's together. This one and this one, and that one's together. Yeah, see, I have complete sets. This one and this one. And that's together. All right. 1 turret, 2 turrets, 3 turrets, 4 turrets, 5 turrets, now some of these, or a lot of these, don't have hatches. Don't have the top hatch. And there's 1, 2, 3 barrels. However, I've got one here that comes with a hatch. That's how I got them. But we can make hatches out of green stuff. As long as I have one to make it out of. 8 T-34-85s. I gotta do winter whitewash with one of them for sure. Yeah, see this little hatch right there? I need a bunch of those. So we're gonna make one of those today. Oh, I thought these broke off. They didn't. They just need, well, this one did. One of these is broken off. Okay, so let's boil up some water. Some what? Boil up some water. Let's make a mold out of this hatch. Now the first thing we got to do is we got to clean this hatch up. The mold only works if one part of it is smooth. Where's my X-Acto knife? So I actually recommend that book. It's called The Last Panther. I'm enjoying it so far. And it might be complete bullshit and made up stuff, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm enjoying it for whatever it is. Yeah. All right, so we're going to use this Hinodawashi Oyumaru. Bless you. Oh, now I find the T-pins. I was looking for them the other night. I needed them the other night, not now. All right, we can cut these into small squares. Probably get 4 of them out of here. That may be the last of this that I have without remelting it. Now this stuff you can remelt. I just haven't done that yet. So I'm going to do 1 there, 2, 3, 4. All right. This is just, it's like rubber. It looks like thick rubber. And I could probably cut it this way and then make double. I'm good with this. Let's not take off a too big a bite. You took a too big a bite. 6 viewers, welcome, folks. You guys want to see how the mold's done? It's easy. I gotta just do it. All right, I'm going to go heat up some water in the microwave. Be right back. Okay. Yeah, this one's pretty hot. This one's cool. So I'm gonna take one of these one at a time. Come on, I got some of these new ones. One of these has got to be easy to work. I want it to be big. Now, I'm gonna do one at a time. And somebody says, "Hey, make a mold out of Legos." Man, Legos are expensive, man. Eben Amail. Sounds Arabic. A little bit. Take my glasses off so we can see. And then we're going to grab something that is... should have had this ready. That's how I do everything. I wing everything. Put that little hatch on there. Press it down. Let's drop another one in while we're waiting on it. Push the mold out. And there's one hatch. Now this stuff I think costs like 20 bucks and I got a lot of it out of it. It comes from Japan. It's probably available wherever the heck you're from. But it's all made in Japan type of stuff. Change my mind up. Let me change my mind on something. We'll put an ice cube in there. Yeah, it's pretty hot. We'll go use the opposite side. It's okay that it's sunken a little bit. And then you mix up the green stuff, put it in there. I'll fill these full in the morning. They'll be easy to, I'll pull them out in the morning, put another set of 4, then we're good to go for tomorrow or the next day. You know, I could have just cut this stuff out of whatever the hell I wanted to, like little plastic tops or whatever, but I didn't have this stuff. Now I have it, so might as well use what you have. Let's switch these. It's available on Amazon, but not this particular set. I have a feeling I probably got this from eBay. The Amazon one has a bunch of different colors, like light blue and yellow, orange, pink. Doesn't really matter what color it is. Let's warm this back up. Give it a minute. Give it a minute and a half originally. I know, if I had a tea maker, I don't drink hot tea. I love tea, I just don't like hot tea. It's easier to make them a little thicker, and then you can slice them off if you need to. Because when they come out, it's damn near almost rubber-like. Haven't sculpted in years. I should get cracking on something, though. It's really enjoyable. Yeah, Legos are super expensive. All right, man. Have a good week. Yeah, I need it if it's something like that. But a lot of the stuff that I'm making is just, I'm making because something's missing. And actually, the very first tank that I had to make a hatch for that I lost was these Mark IIIs. And it's from a company called MMS. And I had one and I bought one. It's this right here. This is some of these German tanks I don't like. They don't have a storage thing in the back. They look silly. And I lost the hatch. It's actually a 2-piece hatch. And I lost the hatch. One of them in the move and the other one came without one. But what I am is a painter. I'm a painter above everything else. Because what I did is I painted it like there was a gap in it. I literally put a disc completely down. And it's still probably one of the things at the time, probably the thing I was the most proud of. Let me put them next to each other so you can show you. Let me toot my own horn here a little bit. But it just shows, it's easy to. All you got to do is just want to do something and then just do it. That's not a split hatch. That is a solid piece painted with a split and then highlighted. That's one of the tanks. Here's the other one. Let's get rolling there. It's easy to do. You just got to do it. Well, it's either that or I didn't have a freaking hatch for this thing. So I had one of them, and in my many moves and never finishing building these things together, I lost it. And the other one was from the estate sale and also didn't have it. So the cool thing is I have two of them and they both look the same. So if there's one thing I'm good at, it's painting. Building shit, there's people that are much better masters at stuff than I am. I'm not saying I'm no good at it, but I've spent a lot more time painting things than building them. Especially figures. Okay. Let's try again. Whoop. Let's put them together, but Don't want to create one big one. Got to keep them separated. So I think the T-34s, I'm probably going to paint at least, how many of these? At least 3 of them for Battle of Berlin. And I mean with the white stripe on the side of the turret. And I'm going to hand paint it, but I can't make it look as rough as some of those. Some of those look so rough. It just looks like some drunk communist painted them, which is, not far from the truth. Yeah, that's the whole thing is, But 20 years ago when I was doing World War II, I would encounter a problem. I'd miss a piece Fuck, what do I do now? Oh, set it off to the side. I never built it. It's like, this makes all the issues that I have to deal with at work seem like child's play. All right, we'll put you down. And it's empowering to encounter challenges and be able to kick them out of the ball. Hit them out of the ballpark. But I'm new to this. But man, I'm telling you, the sky's the limit with this stuff. The sky's the limit. And really, the green stuff. I wish the green stuff wasn't so difficult to mix. It takes a long time to mix it. But the sky's the limit with that. But I appreciate you guys coming along with the ride. I don't mind giving away all my secrets. And we'll find shit out together. None of this is orchestrated. Disasters can happen. Right before your very eyes. This is the last one. I could lose a Panzer IV barrel. Live. This isn't the real world. This is reality TV. This isn't wrestling. Okay, that's working okay. Having that there. All right, now let's put this back. Let's not screw around with the original. Let's dry these guys off and mix up green stuff. Yuck. I hate doing that. And I'm going to use some of the stuff from Army Painter, because the one I bought that was the cheapo one from and you can even see, let me show you a picture of this. This stuff's amazing. Everybody should buy this stuff. I don't care what you do with it. This stuff is just too cool not to have. And it's reusable. That's what's really cool about it, is it's reusable. Well, and it's also non-toxic. Let me take a picture of this so you can see the mold. Let me see if I can get the light just right. Because it is clear, so it's kind of hard to... And I'm not a very good picture taker. I'm sorry. I have a lot of patience, but not when it comes to take pictures. I only take 2 or 3 and okay, one of these got to be good enough. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's like a little square, there's a little round part on one side, and that came out. So, we're going to mix up some green stuff. I'm going to use the Army Painter stuff, because it doesn't smell bad. This stuff is stinky. I don't like it. I'll still use it, but let me run out of the other stuff first. T-34 is your second favorite tank of the area. What's your favorite tank? I don't have favorite tanks. There's tanks I dislike. I don't have favorite. There's just too... Because I could say, growing up I'd say a Panther. Everybody likes a Panther. But, I like Shermans too. I like T-34s. I like BT-7s, Yeah, where's the packaging? Let me show it to you. It's available wherever you it comes from Japan. I didn't throw away the package. I meant not to throw away the package. Here it is. Oh, I had one more piece. So this came with, say, 8 cubes of this stuff in 2 different colors. for like $20 at the most. So I don't know exactly how it is. I think the name of the company is called Hinodewashi. Hinodewshi. And the stuff is called Oyumaru. But if you do an Amazon search for that, it should come up. I'm pretty sure I bought mine on eBay. I prefer buying things through Amazon because you're more protected as a buyer. If you buy things from Amazon, you're protected by Amazon, and if you pay for them with PayPal, you're even double protected. So it's like, just to keep you from, somebody walking away with your money, Hinodewashi Oyumaru. I don't know why it's called plastic clay, but that's what it is. This stuff's available all the time. It's the same one. It comes in different colors. Single color blue, clear. It's amazing. Now I have never remolded it. So suppose you can get it really hot and mesh it all together and make like one big one if you need a big part. But honestly, I just need little parts. Nothing I need is really, really big. So, all right, now the estimate how much I need to do 4 hatches, which is not a lot. Well, I'm going to order something soon, in the next month. And speaking of game-changing things, this will be a game changer as well. I'm not going to, as much as I like to steal my own thunder, I'm not going to do it. You guys just have to wait. So, I think it's going to be a game changer. But I like taking tanks that are, those ones that I have, they're the Skytrucks, they're not very good. I love taking things that aren't very good and making them look good. I hate doing this part. This just takes way too long. And it's not that I'm in a hurry. I just think that certain things just don't deserve the kind of attention that they require sometimes. Does that make sense? Like cooking. I don't cook because it takes a long time to make something you can gobble in 3 minutes. And then you have to clean up after it. I just don't think it deserves the time that it takes. Now, I spent a long time painting one figure. But you know what? He doesn't unpaint himself. And unless somebody walks away with it, which has only happened to me once that I know of. You don't have to do that again. Your Stug 3. That's a popular tank. That's a popular vehicle. It's a popular vehicle. I have 2 or 3 of them complete. I have a 4. I have a 4 and 2 3s. And I'll probably have more. Well, if your game is so tactical and you have so little vehicles, why do you have so many vehicles? I like doing them. They're fun. Like, you'll see some paint scheme. Man, I want to do that, but I want to do that one too. I want to do that one through as well, but I only have 1 Stug, so buy 2 more Stugs. These things cost as much as an adult beverage. All right, let's make a sausage. Uh-oh. My vibrator went off. that's nothing. My wife is out and about, and I want to make sure that if she needs something that she can reach me. Oot the boot. Yeah, so we'll have to paint us a Nazi stooge to put in the turret of that King Tiger. All right, let's cut this in half, and let's cut it in half again. And let's cut this one in half, and that should be plenty. I don't mind if I have extra. Okay, so we're going to come over here. Doesn't have to be very thick. And then since it's clear, you can look through the bottom of it and see that it's filled all the little, and these are really simple parts. I'm not doing really complicated stuff. And then just leave it alone. And do the same thing with this one. I had a King Tiger, and this all happened because I moved, and I kind of moved in a hurry. I had a King Tiger that was missing a hatch. This is a terrible model. Don't ever, I know you don't do the scale, but don't ever build these things by Pegasus. They look okay now. They look all right now, but this was a piece of shit. So one of these hatches was missing. So I just took the one I had left and made another mold out of it. Bam, done. And you can't really make that out of a little plastic thing because it would just take a long time, but it saves you when something's missing. The King Tiger that I got, the Eschi model, didn't have enough of the tracks on the side, so I made them. Made extras. Ah, shit. Well, that's not supposed to fucking happen. Alright, well, let's remold it. Stuck to my fingers and not here. And then we'll put some of these T-34s together. Sure, keep my finger wet so I don't pull it back onto my finger. Like that. Maybe we'll be inspired and we'll make another one with the hatch open. I got some cool Soviet tankers. Okay. So we'll set these off to the side. And I don't like cutting into this, especially if I'm going to roll things. You just set this over here. Yeah, Stub 3 is one of the most common. Probably, no, I think it is. It's the most common German vehicle. They made like over 10,000 of them, which is not a lot, but it is for the Germans. All right, we no longer need this. So let me not do what I always do, which is to move it off to the side. Let me actually get them out of here. So I'll be right back. I don't need these for anything else. dishwasher, so if it did release some chemicals, hopefully I'll take care of it. All right, so let's pick a T-34. You say you did you like 6mm. The first stuff I had, I did micro armor way back. The only thing I don't like about micro armor is it puts too much emphasis on the vehicles, and the infantry aren't much fun to play usually at games on that scale. I grew up. My first wargaming experience is playing a game called Command Decision, which we play with micro armor. 1 to 5 scale game. That one's done. Shouldn't be a whole lot of flash on these things. And it just wasn't any fun to play with the infantry. But I remember the first thing I bought when I bought some tanks, I ended up buying like a pack of T-34-85s, a pack of Mark IV H's, some French tanks in case I played some French, some British tanks. I bought like 1 pack of everything, which is useless to use in a game, but I just figured if you play a game, I'd have some of it. That's the kind of shit you do when you're 17 years old. I think I was 17, 16, 17, something like that. Okay. Shouldn't be much flash cleanup on this at all. Let's get a file. I've got these files, I hardly ever use them for anything. This one should be fine. Microarm's awesome, but too small nowadays. You'd like the whole aesthetic with logs on the side of the studs. I don't know that I've ever seen a stud with logs. That's more of a Sherman thing. My interest in stems from the fact that the Finns had a handful sent to them by Mr. Mustache Man and put to very good use against the neighbor, which is what we call the Red Army. Yeah. Yeah, they did. Mustache Man. Now these also have spare parts here, like tow hooks, and this one because it came with some. I don't think I'm gonna go and make them. I don't think it's worth to go and make the extra tow hooks. I mean, they are war game miniatures. I would have to make a whole bunch of these little things. I just don't think it's worth my time. So there's lots of die-cast models I don't have. Now these barrels and stuff, yeah, I got tons of, and we'll do a mixture of them, like I did on my T-34 76s when we did all those. I think this is good to go. Okay, how are we looking at the turret here? Now, one thing that's always helpful is drill out the barrel. Doesn't have to be very deep, just enough to give the illusion that it's hollow. Let's get our ist mein Pinweis? It's right here. I see it. So much easier to do with this than this plastic. And I'm gonna have to change sizes as we go. If I can get the other size to sit in the other. Yep. Oh, that's handy. Really only need to divot it. Give the illusion that there's something going on there that isn't. .85 millimeter gun, 53 caliber. 85 L53. In my game, pretty much everything is under 200 meters. So this thing can penetrate a tiger easy. Just a matter of hitting it. I heard you. I will be home shortly. Okay, I've been warned. Another trick that on some modeling pages, you want to scrape something down, but you don't want to leave chunks, use the back of the X-Acto knife. I didn't come up with that, I just read it. Does the back of this turret, it looks like it's got a little, these are going to look great. These are going to look great. The only thing I don't do, I don't write decals, you know, that promote fake shit. Like, you know, I don't do Czechoslovakian liberation tanks. You know, come on, you're not you're liberating them from one thing and putting some. Let me see if I can find a picture of the back of a T-34. I know I could just use the internet, but. I want to make sure it doesn't have a little line back there. And it looks like it does have a little line. So I don't want to scrape that off. Yeah, and I think it simulates a handle. Which, you know, if I was really anal retentive, I could scrape those off and then re-drill them and use staples. But they're War Games models, man. Last time we had a game with it, we did an alternative battle of Hanut with about 200 tanks on a table, Panzer 1s, 2s, 3s against whatever French and Belgians have painted up. Good fun. Need to finish off a DBA terrain kit for a weekend after next, and I've been putting off. You've inspired me today, so you're terrain making. Well, that's what we're here for, man. I hope that's what you're doing. You know, you don't even have to work on, I don't care what scale people do, or if they're working on DBA stuff, or, you know. This is paint and chat. You want to talk about something else, or you got questions, or I got lots of reference material. I don't mind. I like walking away from these sessions like, damn, I'm glad I did that, you know? This T-34 is ready to go. I mean, other than fuel tanks and stuff. The whole thing is to avoid analysis paralysis. We all get it. We all get it. You're like, oh, I don't know what color I should paint this. So, you overthink things and then you don't do anything. Like, just freaking start slinging paint, figuratively, and just get it done. We all do that. Like writer's block, except, painter's block. You got to do it so you can earn buying something else. I know some of you guys buy it anyways, but I like keeping myself on a really short leash. Ah, I hear the lady of the house. I'm going to take a little break, help her with the groceries, and I'll be right back. Okay? So, speaking of DVA, there's a guy that I know that I would see almost every year if he made it to Historicon. And he messaged me. I can't remember if it was a private message or it was a public message. It might have even been a public message on one of the DVA groups that I'm still a member of. Not that I'm ever going to play DVA, but it doesn't really matter. Actually, there's a lot of things that I do like about it. I like the scale of the DVA game, that it's 12 units and there's only that many figures. Whatever. So he sent me this message and he was asking me. He sent me a picture and he said, "Hey, is this the Swedish church that you have? Swedish church, the Norwegian church. I have a Norwegian church that are my DVA camps here. Some of them. Is it here? No, let's put it away. We're not going to go fish it out now. But anyways, I got it. It's a little trinket. It's not very big. Most of you guys have probably seen it. I've had it for a while. From the Norway Pavilion in Epcot. And it's a stave church. And I use it as my camp for my Norwegians and for my Swedes as well. And he's like, "Hey, is this a picture of it? Somebody's selling it on eBay for like over $100. I think when I bought it, it was $15. It's unpainted, but it comes like in a natural, like, It's made of resin or something like that, and it's brown. And of course, I repainted it in shades of brown so that it looks like what it's supposed to look like. And I think you went and got it. Like, holy shit, that's a lot of fucking. I should sell mine. But last time I went to Epcot, which was a while ago, it was, as a matter of fact, the last time I went to Epcot was the weekend before COVID shut everything down. So, they didn't have any more of those trinkets. And I love little trinkets like that. They don't necessarily have to be in 15 millimeter in scale with the Army. It's just the impression that they give you of an Army. Just something to, just some little ambiance, so to speak. And they don't make them anymore. I've looked for them, and just a little. It's probably about the size of this T-34, footprint wise. Not much bigger than that. Life got so much easier when I realized I wanted to paint armies as opposed to paint models. You get a lot more stuff done that way. Also, DBMM is my main game, so lovely to hear that more people are doing DBA. Well, I don't know. It doesn't appeal to everybody. I can't really fault for people not playing DBA, thinking it's too generic. I'm the same way about World War II. I am super, World War II is like my religion. So I don't want to play Flames of War or Bolt Action or things that are not super crunchy. I could tolerate it with DBA because, I would like for it to have more detail, but I could handle that. But, I wouldn't be able to handle Americans fighting Americans or, all the stuff that you do because of tournaments. The only reason I ever did tournaments to begin with is so I didn't have to supply the stuff for both sides. I can just build my stuff and I handle my troops and I don't have to worry about somebody else destroying my shit. That was really the big. It wasn't the competitive thing because I'm competitive anyways. I mean, hopefully you're competitive no matter what you do. Not to the point of being an asshole, but you try to win. And now with this, I'm more interested in the narrative. And learning about the period, learning even more stuff than I didn't know. So, but I am a recovering 1/35th scale modeler. So, that's the kind of detail on that kind of stuff that I'm looking for. Let's just do one at a time. Let's not get too carried away. But DBA was a good run. I did it for 18 years, almost to the day. As a matter of fact, this convention will have been 20 years ago. It was the first time I ever played DBA. And I had some good times playing it. And I'm perfectly fine not playing it again. And I don't poo-poo people for playing it, It was just... I was going through a lot of trouble for a lot of people, and they weren't showing up. That doesn't mean Mitch. We're not talking about him. I'm just talking about everybody else. So... This is interesting. This has almost like a patina on it. I wonder if this is... What do they call it? Where it's being damaged? Corrosion? Maybe not. Painting it fixes all that. If there's one army that you don't mind having them rough looking tanks, it's the Soviets. That looks pretty good. And we'll give them a barrel. Oh, this one's broken. Okay, so we need to give them a broken one. Which one of these is broken? I got my contacts out, so I see all. don't want to take that out because that's going to reduce the length. But I may just have to do that. I may just do that anyways. I would have loved to have played DBMM, but I'm not going to learn it. That doesn't mean I don't want to play it. I just don't have the stomach to read stuff that's abstract. And I have nothing but love for Phil. It's nothing against Phil. I think he's a brilliant man. But it uses a kind of thinking that I'm just not programmed for. I'm programmed for this thing that I'm playing. I mean, I enjoy the last couple of the demo games I did. You know, that's my line of thing. I'm not a strategic player. I'm a tactical player. Okay. All right. This is one of these barrels. So the question is, which one is it? Okay, it's broken off here. These two ends are not broken off. That one is. That one's not. Okay. That one is not. And that one's not. Okay, so the new barrel, does one of these have a new barrel? No, it'll end up being that one. That's a new barrel. These are almost all the same length. I'm going to end up drilling that out just so I can get a good purchase on it, because having this just sitting on the end, although I could just run I could run a rod, drill one end, drill the other one, put a rod. I've got the tools and to do that now. 19-year-old me would have just thrown this in the garbage can and moved on. No, I wouldn't have thrown it away. It would have just been sitting there. I think that's what I'm going to do. We need to straighten this bitch out, though. And these other ones have a little bit of glue on them. And they have some depth to them, so. Like that one's deep. So if I do that, to be the same length, this needs to be glued to the outside. Okay, cool. So that one can be that one. This one can be this one. This is this one. And then this one will end up being, all right, let's do that. And this will be some empowering shit. This will be some empowering shit, and we'll feel great about it. I don't think that I have to use a piece of metal that's super hard. I think I could use a piece of wire like this and be perfectly happy with it. Coming years are going to be interesting when it comes to WRG. Looking forward to release DBF, see how they manage to steer the games to be more accessible when it comes to layout and language. Hopefully stuff like marketing. Imagine we'll give them money for PDFs, an example. Yeah. Okay, let's take this and drill this in the center, or center-ish. Let's start with a divot. Now, it goes up a little bit there. These were literally, well, the guy was selling them, they're like a big, I mean, there was parts everywhere. I'm surprised that I was able to get whole sets of these. Now let's use the back of this to do that. We're going to go ahead and drill the front out. So we don't have to deal with that. Just somewhere near the center so you can get a purchase on this. Okay. Now the other side of it is broken, technically. Let's put a divot in it as well. See, if this was plastic, this would be so much easier to work with. Because you end up having to put a lot more pressure on this than you want to. I'm going to go ahead and actually remove that one for the time being. Now let's see, how deep is that? Let's keep going a little bit deeper. All right, now let's do the same thing in here. We're unscrewing that side without wanting it because it turns the opposite way. Okay, so that one is a tiny bit there, and that one is a tiny bit here. All right, we're going to use this wire because this is relatively easy to cut, and it should be damn near the right size. Okay, so let's get super glue, which I don't like to use, but this is a time for that. And let's go ahead and pre-cut a piece here. And I'm going to make it longer than I need it to be. Don't use your good tweezers for this. And don't... Okay. Hey, I kept that from going flying. This goes here. That's more than what we need. We're going to go ahead and glue this here. Oh yeah, that like went enough thin there. We're going to get a good purchase on that. All right, and let's just forget we're even doing this. We'll clean up another tank and then we'll come back to this one. It's the kind of shit I wouldn't have been able to do 20 years ago. I gotta be real careful. This room is like spotless. Cleaning people come in. What is the maker brand of those tanks? They're SHQ. SHQ, they're 176 scale. I got about, and I'm not exaggerating, like 50 T-34s for like 150 bucks. I think I'm like $3 a piece or something like that by the time they averaged out. I'm like, I couldn't pass that up. First of all, when am I ever going to encounter somebody selling 172nd or 176 at a convention? I'm just not. And I would have preferred them being 172nd, but you know how much that would have cost? You know, so yeah. Unfortunately, somebody had to pass away for me to get them. But Maybe they're watching and we can make them proud or something. I don't know. I didn't know that any of the people that I didn't know the guy that passed away, but you know, if I wasn't going to buy them, somebody else was going to buy them, and they weren't going to do anything with them. So we're going to do stuff with them, and we're going to make these little guys shine. They're not bad at all. The road wheels look fantabulous, actually. Fantabulous. But these are SHQ. Just some of these came loose and didn't come with any extra pieces. So whatever the extra tow hooks and stuff they had gotten misplaced before I ever got my hands on them. A lot of flash on these things. Oh, look at this. An extra tow hook. Maybe we'll try making some of those. Greetings from... Oh, you're from Hungary. A Magyar. I have a Hungarian army. You want to see it? Let me know if you want to see my Hungarian army. Say yes. Say yes. Go for it. Has to say it, though. My medieval Hungarian army. From Matthias. Yeah, I don't do Liberation T-34s or KVs or not KVs, JS2s. That's just, that's bullshit. Matthias Hunyadi. I was thinking about something that I forget exactly what it was, but man, you don't use certain words anymore. You forget stuff. Like there was something I was trying to recall if I had made an army of one thing or another, and it was like front and center all the time, and then all of a sudden don't do it for 2 years, and I'm like, it's like lost. Like you're not exercising, Your main DBMM army is kind of Hungarian as well, and Romanian and Serbian, kind of. Yeah, I got Hungarians, I got Dracula's Wallachian army. They can also morph into elements for. See, here's this. This is the I didn't do it for a while, and I forget what it is. Wallachian and what's the other one? Moldavian. That's what it is. Moldavians have the night element. Man, I love doing heraldry. I love doing the research on the heraldry, and I love painting it. So much. Again, I guess I'm into it because I got good heraldry. If my heraldry was like some guy blowing a horn out of his ass, I'd probably like to forget. I would like to pretend that heraldry didn't exist. This one's a bit difficult. Guess the kingdom? Okay, hold on a second. What do you got? It's kind of Hungarian as well, Romanian and Serbian. Well, Romanians didn't exist as such until much later. The Serbs got screwed by the Turks, but so did everybody. My mom went to that part of the world recently. She went over and went to Vlad's castle and all that. I'm like, yeah, I have it in miniature. I never finished painting it. Oh well, shit happens. Hey, whenever I get back into it, I'll have stuff already built for it. Ooh, look, it got so much of a purchase, it got stuck in there. I pulled it out, it came out. Yeah. Be careful, you get lead poisoning and an injury all at the same time. Why this flash in particular is really difficult. Well, depending on the period, the Bulgarian Empire could have a lot of Hunnic type influences. This is kind of exhausting. All right, let's see how we're doing over here. All right, how far does this need to go in? Not very. All right, so let's cut this down. And hopefully I won't screw this up because I don't have to make another one. Where is, and we're not using the good cutters for this. You know, the Tamiya cutters don't go anywhere near this. That should be enough of a purchase on there. I'm afraid I'm going to use epoxy for this. You know, a lot more confidence, and that looks pretty damn good. Is it sticking out farther than it needs to be? No, I think we're good. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to secure this with super glue right now. So I have it handy. I don't want to mix up a whole bunch of epoxy for just a tiny smidge. Oh, I couldn't have done that 20 years ago. Well, I didn't have all these freaking tools and shit, you know. 241 Gepids. Would have loved to do 1/72 for my big World War II, but yeah, everyone does 28 millimeter. I don't. But then I never played Warhammer. Actually, when I was getting World War II stuff, 28 millimeter just wasn't up. They have good looking figures now, but back then they didn't have them. And I'm playing an actual scale, so 28 millimeter means that, you know, now my battlefield's only 100 meters across instead of 200 meters. So, but you know, I'm basically playing a role-playing game, so to speak, ish, without all the role-playing part. Get what ice. 10? Shit, something I'm on a roll, man. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I'm on a tear, man. So I like doing Soviet stuff because people just throw it together and go, just Russia, just paint green, whatever. Well, that's the wrong attitude to have. For me, anyways. I don't ever plan on playing this with people on both sides. You know, I'll play once, or I'll move one side, and everybody else can be on the other one. Save a lot of time that way. Mm-hmm. Okay. How we doing here? Yep. Tell me that was the second one. There we go. For some reason, the alloy on that one was really, really hard. Okay, that one's good. And we know this one's good. Okay, cool. Next! Ooh, this got a big dent here. Cool, we'll leave it. No extra charge. Yeah, seriously, we'll leave it. And this is all bent up, crimped up. Leaving it. Another one on this side. Perfect. We'll just take that off. It's missing a fender. We cut it off on purpose. Gepids. Gepids are, what are they, 4 knights? 4 warband? Something like that. 4 knights, 4 warband. 4 skirmishers. I'm not gonna call them by that name ever again. That's my only gripe with Phil. Why do you call them by? They're Swiss handgunners, but you still call them PS, the PS name. No. Stupid. What are we dealing with here? We got a bendy barrel. Let's see. Let's see, what should we use? What should we use that has a step on it? Be careful, we don't want to snap this thing. We got this. This is how I got them. blade. Can't wait to hand paint all the slogans and shit. Well, these don't have as many slogans. These are more. You didn't need to motivate the troops back in late 1944 anymore. They knew they were going to win. All right, we need to use a new one of these because the end of that one broke off. Okay. Guess we got an extra turret here. This is one that was glued in here at some point. And we're gonna have a mixture of fuel tanks. I got extra logs. Even more than logs. I remember when I was building these early T-34s and you get this box. Like, what the hell is this toolbox doing on the side of this sloped side of the tank? And what I always thought logs is, you never know where you're gonna need a log to cross something. No, it was extra armor. You think, wow, that doesn't do anything. I said, well, like, it can't hurt. The only way, like, a log would hurt would be like, if an AP goes into the side and takes some of the log with them. So along with the penetration and the shrapnel, you got freaking, toothpicks going in there, super, super fast, turning everybody into a porcupine. But they'd have these boxes on the side, like here. Whoop. They have them like, here on the side of the hull. And it was actually dirt. So this wooden box filled with dirt. And you think, well, that's not very useful. It can't hurt. I mean, it's probably okay against HE. Why you fire HE at the side of a tank, but, sometimes that's what's in the chamber. Ooh, the back of this one's all rough and shit. Well, communist control. Quality control, All right, and we need to do the end of this barrel as well. used to love white metal vehicles. But the problem is they're so damn heavy and brittle, they can fall on the ground and basically damage themselves. We could do better than that. What's the biggest one we got? This one. There we go. Now, does that one fit here? Tell me it does. Hot damn. Because somebody, whoever assembled this, used who knows what in here to glue it. Probably super glue. Good. Now we can get a good purchase on this thing. Bah! Looks like that's how it fits in there. Make sure this is straight before we start. I normally would use epoxy, but I got this stuff out, so. Two left to go. It's the flash on the wheels, it takes forever. Let's go back and put the crappy one on. How many I say this is? 6? Yeah, I got 2 of them already painted. Yeah, so that's a nice thing. You don't have to decide, well, which 6 do I want? Which T-34 45 am I gonna do? Freaking do them all, man. Now, I don't like building them as units because it's an opportunity to, to paint them a little differently. I've got a T-34 model 1942 or model 1943. I forget which one it is. I think it's a model 1942 actually. I don't think it's got a cupola. And it's in a picture. Might have even been a Kursk, I'm not sure, I don't remember where it is, but there was this one unit, this one tank brigade that was raised by supposedly, money that was confiscated. Well, that's what I call it. And the whole unit was and a hand painted. It says for Soviet Moldova, and apparently all of the tanks in the tank brigade, however many tanks that is, I don't remember exactly how many tanks are in a Soviet tank brigade, but at least 30, all have the same inscription on that turret. Well, that's just a wasted opportunity. That's a wasted opportunity to have something, interesting done to them. You can't do 30 of them that way. It's just, I don't even want 2 the same way. So I don't really want them to be part of a unit. As I need to have ways to identify them anyways. Each individual tank. So that particular tank brigade had all of them that were labeled exactly the same, whichever tank brigade that was. But I'm not interested in doing that. So okay, well that was relatively easy to do. This one doesn't have much flash either. could tell. Get a little bit more flexibility to where this is going to be glued on. Yep. Oh. See how these hatches come out in the morning. Now this one has the barrel that's never been installed in anything. It's this guy right here. This guy's brand new barrel. Now, the thing I really don't like about these barrels is you can't tell that they have any taper at all. So, I mean, I get that they may not have had much, but man, you gotta have a little bit more confidence. It's one of those things that you put one side in the other, and you put one side in and you think it's the other way. It's like, man, it looks thicker over on this end. You flip it, it's like, looks thicker on the end. You know, you don't want it thicker on the end. Definitely not. nice thing is if you booger one of them up, you just make the other one the end. Is it? Not really, but. Nope. Let's scratch this up first. Let's take all this stuff off as much off as we can. Within reason. You know, these have pretty good detail. The problem is these molds are old. I'm not sure how old, but they've been cast a few times. They've been cast a few times. I had a lot of fun playing around with T-34-45s. Whenever that Call of Duty World at War came out, you drive around, you can play with vehicles, you can just go in and just blast people. Not a realistic game, but it was fun, and the tanks looked good in that game. Blast the shit out of people. And there was no ammo restrictions. I just, give me an 85mm gun and just start blasting people. I think it's a T-34-45 that's an all-female crew, and it's called like something girlfriend or whatever. It's an all-female crew. Won't be doing that one. I don't know, unless the markings on it look good. There's just better looking markings. There's some good looking markings for these vehicles. Okay, when we get done with this, we're done for the night. Favorite girlfriend or something like that. I think it's the name of the tank. Okay, so here we have 6 T-34-85s. let me not do what I normally do. We're gonna put this stuff away. I'm gonna take this stuff away. So we got turret, 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 turret. This is accoutrement. Hole, 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 turret, turret, hole, hole, hole. And we're not going to glue these on with super glue. This is a job for epoxy. We want some serious gap filling with this stuff. We'll run a little vacuum. I think it's here. Might have been used by somebody else. Well, anyways, we will vacuum this up now. That's what we will do at this point. Put this stuff away. And we will catch you guys later on in the week, hopefully. And we've got some T-34 45s coming up. So, anyhow, thanks for stopping by, folks.